If you're a handbag lover like me, you know the best place to get a luxury handbag straight from the store is Europe, right? Go to Paris or go to somewhere else in Europe, but more likely Paris, and you're able to get that bag for one, a cheaper price, but then also because of the VAT refund, you get it for even more of a cheaper price. Does that logic then apply to going on a cruise? Is it cheaper to buy handbags on a cruise line? Well, I wanted to know that answer, and I love to go on cruises, specifically Royal Caribbean cruises. So I thought I would do a little bit of digging and investigation to determine, does it make sense to wait and actually try to buy these luxury handbags, the things that we love, from a cruise? We are going to specifically focus on Royal Caribbean because that's the information that I have. I don't know if other cruise lines offer to buy luxury handbags or not. Royal Caribbean has a program with What Comes Around Goes Around, which is a well-known luxury reseller, and they will sell specific bags on the ship, and they have a storefront that specifically has all the luxury items. We went on the Quantum of the Seas ship, which is a newer ship and a newer class, and they had a store that was dedicated to selling these items, and then they would have certain events, like I will show you on the screen, where they would have like deals on these items. Now, if you're not familiar with What Comes Around Goes Around, I wasn't either, to be honest. What I'm more familiar with is Fashionphile, The RealReal. I think that What Comes Around Goes Around is more focused in Europe, not necessarily within the United States, but they are a brand similar to the others that I just talked about, where they resell bags that have been authenticated and that are in good quality. I will show you a lot of footage that I got from the ship of like what items were available during the cruise that I was on and what do these things look like. You can tell that they have a lot of items that are more vintage in nature, and then they have ones that maybe are a little bit newer or of certain collections that people tend to look for, like the multicolor options that are the previous launch, not the most recent launch. The benefit of buying a luxury bag from the cruise ship is that you do not pay taxes, which you would definitely have to pay if you bought any items from the Fashionphile, RealReal, so on and so forth. You do have to pay taxes. So that is a benefit. But are they cheaper? Just the cost of them in general. Is the cost of them in general cheaper? And the answer is no. What I found, and again, I'm going to show you lots of different examples, I feel that these bags were selling, or they're wanting more for these bags than what you would even see on the RealReal and Fashionphile, are potentially comparable, but they were very high priced in my opinion. Now, they were good quality. They didn't really have any real like damage, stains, anything of that nature, so they were very good quality, more in like the excellent condition or good, not heavily worn condition. That is something to keep in mind, and likely one of the reasons why the price was what it was. But I felt that other than not having to pay for the taxes on the items, this would not be necessarily the best deal unless there was a specific item that you were looking for and you found that item for a similar cost to what was available on like Fashionphile, the RealReal, things of that nature. Now, thinking about if you are buying from a trusted seller on eBay, then it is way more that you would be paying with this service versus through eBay. And with eBay, remember, you do have to pay for taxes on items. You're not avoiding the taxes from that standpoint. So that can, depending on the cost of the bag, save you potentially hundreds of dollars. So that's something to keep in mind. I wanted to pull up an example and actually go through what this item was and the cost of it. They have the ability to scan a QR code on any of the bags that they have available, and it pulls up the authentication information for that specific item. It is called the Blanchie BB. So Louis Vuitton pink monogram in empreinte print, and it's the Blanchie. And so this bag was made in 2019. And it's from France. It provides the serial number there. So that is what the information that was pulled up when I scanned it. It was a cute bag. It was in very good condition. Like I said, all of them really were. With regard to the price, that's not helpful. I don't think that I actually got the price of it, which is extremely not helpful.
Editing Rachel here. I ended up being able to find one on What Goes Around Comes Around's website. It's not the exact one. This one was made in 2018 versus the other one was made in 2019 that I saw on the actual cruise ship. But the one that I found on What Comes Around Goes Around's website is in excellent condition, so similar condition to the one that I found, and it was $2,450. So I did a Google image search in order to find if there are any of these on the common resellers that we see, like the RealReal, Fashionphile. I was able to find one on the RealReal. It's sold, so it's not current, but it sold for $862.50. It went to 50% off, it looks like, and it was a 2018, so the same year, but the condition was in good condition versus excellent. I don't think that the change in condition really warrants like the significant difference in cost.
It seems extremely overpriced, to be honest. Before you think about committing to anything on a luxury cruise line like Royal Caribbean, who has this available within the ship, make sure that you have access to Wi-Fi and that you can double check the cost and the pricing of these things, because I honestly don't think that you would be getting a bargain. I think that you would honestly be overpaying. There's so many better deals from trusted sellers through Japan if you're going to be buying secondhand. So I wanted to give you some examples of what items that they had, and again the cost, just so that you have an idea in case you were thinking, oh, like I'm gonna save up and I'm going to, you know, try to buy something on a cruise because I know that they sell luxury handbags and goods. Know that it is still heavily overpriced, in my personal opinion. The only real benefit to buying on the ship is that you don't have to pay the taxes for that item. So it's tax-free, duty-free. That is literally the only benefit. I would say that if you're saving and you're wanting to get a bag that actually is from the store, obviously this is not going to be the option because these are all, like I said, vintage options. They're not any like new releases. They don't have any new releases, and it's not an actual like Louis Vuitton store or physical like storefront on the ship. It is just items coming from that What Comes Around Goes Around service. Let me know in the comments down below, like, what are your thoughts on the pricing that I showed you of these items? Were you surprised by the pricing, or were you not surprised? And then would you buy an item from the ship given that it's tax-free? As always, it's a pleasure, guys. This is Deluxe Edit. I hope that by the time that I see you next, you have picked up an amazing piece that you're very excited about, and let me know about it in the comments down below. I would love to hear an amazing find that you found. In the meantime, I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye, guys.